Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We've got Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, SAN, to just give us his perspective on what's going on. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Now, we're talking about the fight against corruption. How do we improve upon what we're doing? But this recent seizure, we have people who are asking, are we actually on the right track with the kind of challenges that the Commission is facing? What's your impression of how this fight is turning out?
Hello?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, could you please tell us what's your impression of how our fight against corruption is turning out?
Well, I think they are doing very, very well. We have been agitating for a very long time that we need proceed of crime hard poker, which is everywhere. If you have poker, there are ways in which you can get assets that are stolen in a civil manner that will not necessarily involve going to court and then file a criminal charge against the person. So, but the National Assembly for years refused to pass that law. So, and that is why we are having all this. The FCC has a provision in their act that says that if they see anyone living above his means, they can seize the asset and then take the asset from the person and ask him to come and justify. But there is no provision in the Act that enable the EFCC to permanently take over that asset. So there is no sanction to follow up that provision in the EFCC Act. So, but this whistleblowing thing, I think, is a good development, but it should be backed up with the law. So I think things are. With that incentive to Nigerians, a lot of information are coming, and it's a good development. I think it should be encouraged. But the National Assembly should wake up and enact a legislation that will enable those things to be there.
Do you think that the Commission should perhaps further push, sensitize Nigerians such that they can also lobby the National Assembly to make sure that these laws are passed to improve our fight against corruption? Will that help?
Well, you are right to a very large extent that they need to sensitize people, let people know what is going on, how they can protect their own assets. Because if people that are who store public money, we know them in our society, we know the way they are moving, so we know how they live. We know the majority of people in public office are living above their means. So they should sensitize Nigeria, let Nigeria know their rights, that this is a common heritage, and let this common heritage guided by the people, so that this will discourage people corruption in fact. So I think it's a good development. They should sensitize Nigeria. They should alert them of their rights. It's their duty to ensure that their resources are spent for common good and not for few officials.
Are you satisfied with the way and manner in which the anti-graft agencies go about when they get this information and move in, let's say, for instance, the Ikoyi case? Are you satisfied that their actions and their mode of operation is in the right order?
No, that is why I said that we need legislation to guide it. But I will not blame them for exposing what they are doing, for making Nigerians to see what they are doing. Like yesterday I was in court, and the lawyer, the senior advocate who were with me, was saying that, why do they know that if they declare 43, it may be more than 43, it may be 50, it may be 50. So in order to show this transparency, that is why EFCC, the way they conducted that, it was shown on it was published out, so that the Nigerians will see that they were transparent, and the amount they discovered was the actual amount figure that they got from that place. So I can't blame them for showing Nigerians, to let them know what they are doing, because we doubt a lot, we doubt people a lot here. So we don't believe people. So if they say 43, some Nigerians will say, no, it's more than 43, that's they are doing is correct. So let them testify. Let them record the activities. I think there's nothing bad about that.
Would you subscribe to that particular agency using social media to sort of put forward what it is doing, as to first of all going to court or going to some judiciary concerns before they do this?
You know that they have their own limitation. The law that created EFCC specified the extent of their power. So they cannot act outside the legislation that created that, another legislation that confer powers on them. There are legislation they are to enforce. One of them is money laundering. One of them is advanced fee fraud. It was in advanced fee fraud that when they were promulgating it, that the former chairman, FCHD, when the National Assembly disallowed Puka, it now inserted a provision, Section 17 of the advanced fee fraud, and say any abandoned property, EFCC can go to court and then obtain interim forfeiture order to say this property is abandoned. So that was the provision that was introduced by Nuhu Ribadu then. In fact, some of us were, some people argue against it that maybe it could not stand. But thank God that we have that provision today. So that is the only provision that EFCC can use and lay hand on after getting a property like this that seems to be an abandoned property that nobody is claiming ownership over. You go to court, obtain an interim order, and ask the person who is claiming legitimate ownership to that property to come out and state how the money belongs to him. So it is in line with the provision of that act that the EFCC is acting. So it is not that they are doing it using an administrative fear to do that. It's based on law.
All right, then, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, SAN, we appreciate your talking to us this morning.
Thank you.